A piece of cardboard sold for $3 million. Not a painting, not a house, not a diamond, a trading card. So why would anyone pay millions for ink on cardboard? And how did Magic: The Gathering, a fantasy card game born in 1993, become one of the most irresistible and lucrative collectibles in the world? The Gathering is more than a game. Since 1993, it has grown into a global phenomenon with millions of players, billions of cards printed, and a massive collector economy built around fantasy, rarity, and desire. But the real question is not just how Magic became popular. The real question is why people still care so deeply. Because inside every booster pack is more than a card. There is hope, memory, status, and the small chance of pulling something that could change everything. In 1991, a young mathematician named Richard Garfield pitched a novel idea: a portable, customizable card game where each player is a wizard wielding magic spells. By 1993, Wizards of the Coast founder Peter Adkison took a gamble. They debuted Magic: The Gathering at Gen Con, a tabletop gaming convention in Milwaukee. Wizards printed 2.5 million cards for the launch, and by day's end they had completely sold out. What began as a one-weekend event became a legend. Over the next year, Magic exploded. The very first expansion, Arabian Nights, came out in December 1993, and Wizards soon committed to a steady schedule of new sets, roughly 4 releases per year. By the end of 1994, over 1 billion cards had flooded the market. Each expansion wove new stories, characters, and artwork into the game's multiverse of planes, keeping players curious and invested in what might come next. Meanwhile, grassroots communities formed everywhere. In basements and local game stores, players built decks and traded cards. Tournaments sprouted up, from small weekly FNM, Friday night Magic events, to gigantic championships. Magic's official leagues and Magic Fest gatherings attracted thousands. The game even went digital. Magic Online launched in 2002, and later Magic Arena, bringing this once analog game to computers and phones, while holding onto its core, a fantasy battle of wits. Its lore spans continents and media, from novels to comics to Netflix shows. It went through roller coaster eras: the 90s boom, the Pokemon card craze that overshadowed it for a moment, digital expansions in the 2000s, and a new surge of interest today with nostalgic throwback. Through all these, one thing never changed: people's passion for the game and its cards. Even in 2026, fans line up for new set releases and scour online marketplaces for rare singles. So why do people pour so much money and emotion into these cards? The answer comes down to 3 powerful forces: scarcity, uncertainty, and meaning. First, scarcity. Magic has always understood one simple truth: people want what they might never get again. Some older cards are protected by the famous reserved list, meaning they will never be reprinted. Other products appear only for a short time with special artwork, foil versions, or limited releases. That creates urgency. If collectors believe a card may disappear forever, they do not just see it as a game piece. They see it as an opportunity. Miss it today, and tomorrow it may cost 10 times more. That fear of missing out turns cardboard into treasure. Second, uncertainty. Opening a booster pack is not just shopping. It feels like a tiny gamble. You know most cards inside will be ordinary, but there is always a chance that one rare pull could make the whole pack unforgettable. That is why pack openings are so addictive to watch online. The suspense builds before the reveal. For a few seconds, everyone watching believes the next card could be special. Even if it is not, the brain remembers the possibility. Magic does not only sell cards, it sells the feeling of maybe this time. And third, meaning. For many players, Magic is tied to memory. It reminds them of childhood, local game stores, old friends, first tournaments, and the excitement of discovering a world bigger than themselves. A rare card is not valuable only because it is hard to find. It is valuable because people attach stories to it. That is why someone like Post Malone spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a Black Lotus does not feel completely random. To outsiders, it looks like madness. To collectors, it represents status, nostalgia, and belonging. This is where Magic becomes more than a game. Its secondary market works almost like a mini stock market. Prices rise and fall based on scarcity, hype, demand, and belief. But unlike normal investments, these cards are powered by emotion. People are not just buying cardboard. They are buying memory. They are buying identity. They are buying the thrill of owning something that other people desperately want. Magic entered many childhoods in the 1990s. Those kids grew up and now chase new sets with the same wonder. The nostalgia factor is real. Consider the Pokemon craze. A single rare Pokemon card, Pikachu Illustrator, sold for $5.275 million in 2021, driven partly by childhood sentiment. Magic has its own relics. Players treasure the original art of childhood favorites like Black Lotus or Time Walk. Each card can carry a personal story: Dad teaching you to play, or that one booster opening where you found a gem. Even brand new cards riff on legacy stories, Planeswalkers, Gatewatch, tying players to the game's past. We don't just collect cards, we collect memories. As one analysis puts it, collectors chase items not for what they are, but for how they make us feel. Complete, connected, in control. A rare Magic card can feel like a piece of your own history, proof of time well spent with friends or family. All of the above leads to a vibrant and volatile secondary market. Websites like MTG Stocks and TCG Player act like stock exchanges for cards. Think of it, a single tropical island card, a dual land from Revised Edition, cost approximately $300 in January 2020. By mid-2021, it tripled to approximately $900, then slid back to approximately $500 by early 2023. These swings were driven by pandemic buying sprees and later by market correction. During the boom, shops could buy low, sell high on cards. But when the bust came, margins evaporated. Wizards even has a policy called the reserve list to never reprint certain old cards, making them perpetual rare assets. Investors in the community treat sealed products and key singles like stocks or gold, analyzing supply and demand factors, betting on which cards will become the next big thing. Some Magic enthusiasts even compare portfolios of cards to stock portfolios. Of course, unlike a regulated market, this one is fueled by passion. When enough people believe a card is special, its price can soar, only to crash if demand fades. But crucially, the market can rebound when new interest comes, meaning those lessons about supply, demand, and confidence in collectibles often mirror broader economic principles. The Magic economy isn't just a niche curiosity, it tangles with real finance. Legendary entertainer Post Malone famously spent $800,000 on a rare Black Lotus, treating cards as rock star status symbols. Online price trackers and grading companies like CGC Cards have emerged, as cards can be insured or used as loan collateral. Magic markets were even discussed in economic forums. Academics have studied collectibles as legitimate alternative investments. It's not unusual for players to encounter letter of credit for a collection or to watch Magic card market trends alongside stock indices. What started as trading cardboard now brushes shoulders with Wall Street analogies. Taken together, these forces create a feedback loop. As cards become scarce and prestigious, more players want them. As more players buy in, prices and fandom grow, which in turn fuels further speculation. It's psychological alchemy, turning paper into perceived gold. #key insight/turning point. The real story of Magic is not about cardboard, it is about how humans create value. A Magic card has no real power on its own. It is ink, paper, and artwork. But when millions of people attach memories, status, competition, and emotion to it, that card becomes something much bigger. Magic shows us that value is not always logical. Sometimes we pay for scarcity, sometimes we pay for nostalgia, sometimes we pay because we want to belong to a world that feels meaningful. That is the real Magic, not what is printed on the card, but what people believe it is worth. #conclusion. Decades after its humble Gen Con debut, Magic: The Gathering still casts its spell. But the bigger question is no longer how much a card costs, but why we care at all. As fans and economists have observed, it's not about the paper, it's about what's stamped on our hearts, the excitement of the chase, the joy of play, the bonds of community. So here's a thought to ponder. What do we really pay for when we trade these cards? Are we buying ink and cardboard, or something far more intangible? A sense of wonder, nostalgia, or status? And if Magic's greatest treasure is the human emotion behind it, how long can that feeling last? Maybe Magic never dies because it was never just a game. It was a mirror, showing us how easily humans can turn memory, scarcity, and belief into value.